Welcome to AI Horror Stories. Prepare to be chilled. Subscribe now and hit that notification bell for daily doses of AI-generated fright. First story is my son. Salt Lake City, Utah. My husband passed away 4 days ago due to accident at his workplaces. I still find it hard to not mourn him because our marriage lasts for 8 years. That night after dinner with my son, I read him to sleep, and once he shut his eyes, I tucked in and kissed his forehead. Then I went to my room and sleep. 2:30 a.m., I was startled to learn that my 5-year-old son knocked on my door room. "Mommy, Mommy," he muttered. "What is it, Garrett?" "It's 2 a.m., honey, go back to sleep." I yelled from inside my room. "Dad's back." He said. My heart felt like it dropped to the floor. Did I heard that right? "Honey, go back to sleep, please." I tried not to react much to his words. "I will call Dad," Garrett said, and I could heard his tiny footsteps leaving. "Garrity," I said, "sleep now." I yelled at him. "Don't snap at him like that, Martha." I gulped my spat once I heard that voice. The voice of my dead husband. "Who the fuck are you? That's not funny. Garrett, who is with you now?" I yelled in fear from inside my room. "I'm with Dad, Mama," Garrett insisted. "Fuck," I murmured. Not long after that, the doorknob of my room is twisted multiple times, as if someone wanted to open it. I always locked my room in case of burglary. "Garrett, who is with you right now?" I yelled once again. "Dad, Mom." Garrett began to cry because I yelled too much at him. Then silence. 15 minutes later, I tiptoed out of my bed, and once I opened my door room, it's just Garrett sitting and hugging his stuffed animals, and there is no one beside him. I went to the living room to check in case someone break into my home and pretended to be my husband, because I swear I heard his voice vividly. My front door and back door is locked. Both window on the front and back is locked as well. One called 911 and explained to them what had happened, and after thorough check, there is no sign of a break-in. Plus, the detectives thought I'm high or hallucinating. What I heard and what my son saw, is it really my dead husband? Second story is Cemetery. London, England, year of 1957. I'm on my way home, holding a lantern. It's drizzling tonight, and I've just visited my sick Nan. It seems like she caught a terrible cold, but Mum insisted I had to see her, because who knows, her time is up soon. As I walked through the muddy road along with the drizzle, I walked past an old cemetery. My Nan said she used to play just outside the cemetery with her peers. Luckily, I never did the same because I'm so freaked out by the ideal of revived corpse. I heard someone cleared his throat right behind me. I turned around. I spotted a tall chap dressed neatly like in Victorian era. He looked quite charming. "WH, who are you?" I squinted my eyes. "I'm Derek. How do I get back home?" He asked me a rather bizarre questions. First, he popped up out of the blue when I walked past an old cemetery. Secondly, he asked a route for his home when I clearly never met him before. "Where is your address?" "Fulham Road," he replied. "Huh? I never heard that road before. Can you walk me there?" "I'll guide you," he said. "Sure. Are you a pilgrims?" "Yeah. I've just visited the cemetery." "Whose cemetery?" "Mine," he replied before a thunder strikes. I screamed on top of my lungs due to the shock. I turned around and I saw him vanished completely into thin air. I sprinted away as fast as I could to my neighborhood, and I never heard or met Derek again. I didn't know what to make of it, whether it's just a sick prank or Derek does exist. But he's buried deep inside the ground, and the creatures I met last night is most likely his spirit. Third story is Candyman. Bronx, New York, year of 1978. It's Halloween night. My friends and I went out trick-or-treating around the neighborhood. So far, we've gathered a lot of candy and chocolate bars in our basket, but we're craving for more. "Hey, whose house is that?" Henry asked as he pointed his index finger at the big bungalow house located just outside our neighborhood. "I don't know, but it sure is big. I think the owner must be wealthy," Craig replied. "Let's not leave the neighborhood." I rejected their ideas. "Come on, Tom, this will be fun." Henry pulled my hands and tried to convince me. The three of us made our way out of the neighborhood, then went straight into the front porch of the bungalow house. Henry knocked on the door. After the third attempt, a long hand with long pale fingers opened the door, but whoever behind the door won't show themselves. It's just a long pale hands with long fingers that looked inhuman, handed Henry 3 pixie sticks. Thank you. The three of us thanked the person jovially in unison before the person carefully closed the door. As the three of us walking on the sidewalk on our way home before it's late and our parents will definitely ground us, Henry kept on talking about pixie sticks. My mom never let me eat pixie sticks. Now I can eat it, and she would never know. Henry giggled as he tried to put the powdery candy into his palm. He then tasted it, and his facial expression changed and he became squeamish. EW, it tastes horrible. Craig and I burst out in laughter because we thought Henry was joking. But then, in the middle of laughing, Henry collapsed on the sidewalk and he's no longer moving. Henry, what happened? I shouted while shaking Henry's shoulder. Wake up, Henry, wake up. Craig yelled frantically. Because of our frantic screams trying to wake up Henry, several neighbors came out to check what happened. Ms. Harlow called 911 and paramedics as soon as the ambulance arrived and CPR was performed. Unfortunately, Henry was pronounced dead at the scene. The officers asked me and Craig the chronology of what had happened, but us, being kid at that time, we only explained the big house and the mysterious hand who gave us the pixie sticks. Neither of us had seen the person who lived in that massive house, and once police break into the house, there is no one there. In fact, it's dusty and abandoned. And Henry is now dead. Henry's mouth smelled like an almond, indicating the pixie sticks had been poisoned with cyanide. My pixie and Craig's was sent to the laboratory and ours contained cyanide as well. 3 days later, I saw Henry in my dream. We were in a mini market and Henry is grabbing several pixie sticks. I thought your mom will never let you eat that. I complained to Henry. SSH. He is watching us, Henry whispered to me. Henry's bizarre response made me aware of my surroundings. Who's watching us? I asked him. Him, Henry simply replied. What are you talking about? Look behind you, Henry said. I turned around, but there is nobody. There is Knob Dash. When I turned back to talk to Henry, he disappeared. Henril, my voices echoed the whole mini-market. Strangely, there is nobody in that mini-market except for us. No cashier either. I reached the parking lot, and there I saw a man trying to activate his car key while ducking his head. I ran at him. Excuse me? Did you see my friend? I asked him once. He turned his head up to look at me. He smiled. His malicious, eerie smile got wider in each second. I have candy in my trunk, he said to me. I'm speechless, unable to react because my body froze in fear. He then opened his trunk, and it's full of pixie sticks, and I saw him pulled up his sleeves. I saw his hands and finger matches the one who handed Henry the sticks. Had the three of us tasted the pixie sticks, we will follow Henry's path. And that long, pale devil hand who put poison into our candy. The police. Never able to find him even to this day, 44 years later. Henry never gets the chance to grow up like Craig and